So, what is the title of this video tonight? The title of this video is on being anti-natalist and why I don't want to have kids. As a human being who we're actually transitioning to adulthood, I can't help but be curious enough about the things that I didn't know and knowledgeable enough about myself. So I have this random thought like recently about if I am childless by choice or an anti-natalist. So I'm going to put proper definition here, being childless, and here being anti-natalist, so that we all can read and able to comprehend what's the definition of that two different word based on the internet, which is pretty reliable. Yes, so I have this thought if I'm just childless by choice or I'm actually an antinatalist. And I do a research about it and make myself knowledgeable and educated enough for that. Two things, yeah. And I found out that I am an antinatalist. But like I also gonna talk about why I am an antinatalist and why people are mad about people who are antinatalist, and also why people are mad about people who just chose not to have kids. So being an antinatalist is actually a pessimistic view on life. It's actually philosophical belief and personal belief that bearing or making another life or another human being in this world is morally wrong for the reason that you are thinking about that unborn child's well-being. So basically it is revolving around that unborn child's well-being and not yours. But like it's personal decisions also and philosophical belief also, compared to just choosing to be childless. It's more of a personal choice for the reason that you're still not ready mentally, financially, or other personal issue that you have. Yes, which is going to actually benefits you. Like it's you, you. The benefits is all on you compared to being antinatalist, which is you are having this huge amount of empathy about that certain unborn child or kid. So why does like me, an antinatalist or people who are antinatalist doesn't want to bring another child or kid here in this world? So philosophically believing antinatalist people have this philosophical belief that bringing another life human being into this world is morally wrong for the reason that whatever challenges, hardships, mental issues, illnesses, calamities, natural disaster, every negative things that we endure and get through, there's this huge, and I'm saying huge, there is 99% out of 100 that this unborn child that you're going to bring to this world will actually will actually experience that too. And worse, if I'm going to actually use the word suffer from it. It's like, don't, we can't sugarcoat things and words anymore. We need to actually use the right words. That unborn child is going to suffer on on what you suffer before. There's this 99% out of 100 that it is possible. Also, if we talk about financially, I would say that I am not qualified to raise a child or bring another life into this world, for the reason that I am still not financially stable. But even though you're financially stable, do you really think that you can raise a child and not having a burden? I'm not saying that the kid or the child is a burden. I'm saying is that in order to raise a child or kid, there's just risk financially through it, and you just can't suffer together. I mean, like, just imagine if there's people who are not even financially stable and just chose to make another being. You just can't suffer together. You can't bring this child into this world because you're not qualified. Also mentally, because if you just think about it, in the very first place, you're not going to make this child if you know that you're not qualified financially and mentally. It's so painful for me to be hyper aware that there's a lot of people who don't deserve to be a parent. There's families who normalize domestic abuse, not being financially stable. It's just so painful for me to be hyper aware on the fact that they're just people who choose to be parents and raise a child, bring another life into this world, and not being actually ready, mentally ready, financially ready, and every risk that there is. And there's just so many people who don't deserve to be parents just because they normalize domestic abuse. Yeah, sorry for the word. Because if you really think about it, there's just so much things and methods that correlates to raising a child. And if you in yourself you know to yourself that you're still incapable, why would you bring another being into this world just to suffer together? Just to say that we can figure this out, and the kid or child has the potential to have mental issues because you all people do not even deserve to be parents at all, because your personal issues, you throw it to your child, if you know what I mean. Just have this realistic vision and lens as much that I do. That there are just people who are cruel enough to still raise a child and throw all their trauma to that certain child. I hate it. I hate it. Also, I think last weeks there's this post in the Instagram that actually pretty controversial too, for the reason that this speaker here in that screen is antinatalist too. I think, yeah. And then I get to scroll to the comments and see that pretty intriguing comment. But like, I accept the fact that we have different values and morals and beliefs. So yeah, but this is the comment here. I'm going to flash it here in the screen. So she addressed to it here that it is the joy from raising a child, and I replied to her that it says it says all. It says everything from her comment. It says everything about her own belief, you know? That it is basically from or deeply rooted from your pleasure or joy on raising a child and bringing another human being into this world. But like she didn't actually think about the well-being and doesn't have empathy on that certain unborn child. You know what's the difference about people who are pro-life and anti-natalist who believe that who believe that bringing another human being here is morally wrong. She actually just cares about her own pleasure and joy in raising a child while not thinking about the well-being of that unborn child and the risk factors that correlates to that. That's the difference of anti-natalist and being pro-life. We just who wanted to multiply and multiply to add more human here in this earth and doesn't even think about the risk factor that this world have just because they are thinking about the joy that this child brings. So actually this kind of people is actually or does put this belief system in this in their mind that's saying if I had a child he or she's going to make me happy. Like, no, girl, raising a child and bringing a child here is not going to make you happy or make you happy. It's not the kid or child responsibility for your happiness. Like child and a kid and certain unborn child is a human being too. It's not just an idea that it will make your life easier. It will make your life easier. You really think that it will make your life easier, but not thinking about this child's well being, not having empathy about the child. I guess you're so selfish. I don't know if y'all still watching up until here this long, but I know this is a very pessimistic view on life, and this is my philosophical belief, but 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 you can't blame people who are anti-natalist. Personally, I just don't want to bring another kid or child here in this world for the reason that I just don't want them to experience what I experience. To experience trauma, mental issues, hardships, challenges, and what for? What for? They didn't even ask to be born, so let them be wherever they are. I don't know. Like, yeah, this is the end of the video, and I hope I get the all nerves. Yes. Like, I'm not really pushing y'all to be anti-natalist. I'm just sharing my side. And I know there's just so many, there's people who also resonates with what I am talking about tonight. But yeah, there's actually people who's going to hate me in the comment section. Like, yeah, thank you so much, guys. If you resonate, if you hate, leave a comment. And yeah, the other videos that I have is available. Yeah, and I upload every week consistently as much as I can. Thank you so much, guys, for listening.